Well, hey everybody, and welcome back to Radioactive Scale RC. And today, as you saw from the beginning of the video, that we have completed the interior work. So I just wanted to give you a quick overview here at the end of the video of the interior and my color choices and why I went with these colors and how I did the interior. So it was a fun to do. It wasn't too difficult. The hardest part, I think, was masking everything off and picking my colors, which took me a bit of research on the internet and looking at the interiors of 2015 Heritage Editions, and I found a lot of them had different colors of oranges. So I went with this orange, and this orange is a Rust-Oleum paint. It's a satin rustic orange. I kind of like it. I was kind of hoping it was a little bit more darker, but I think it'll look really good inside the truck and set it off just a little bit of a contrast with the green on the truck. I think it'll set it off really well. So it wasn't too difficult to do. I sprayed all the pieces with the black, flat black Rust-Oleum also. Before I did all that, I cleaned everything with IPA, made sure that there was no grease marks from my fingers or anything on it, sprayed it all down, put 2 coats of the black on, let that dry for probably 4 hours, I think 3 or 4 hours, and then started my paint masking off for the orange paint. It turned out pretty well. Once I got the masks on, the hardest was the dash. We'll go over the dash here in a sec. It was the hardest and most tedious work. But the door panels I thought turned out really well. These are the next piece that I needed to carry on with the assembly of the body. So that's what we'll do in the next video is the assembly of the interior and the final assembly of the truck. But yeah, so the burnt orange or rustic orange, I guess, is really good. I thought it turned out pretty good. It didn't do too much. I just did some highlights areas on the door panel, 2 areas. I did some silver on the handle and the locking mechanism. That is a speaker. There's a decal for that in the decal kit, so I left that the way it is. The seats turned out pretty good. I masked off the center where the ripples are in the center. I was going to do the outsides originally, but then I decided I'm going to do stripes in the center and cut it off a little bit on the front end there. So they turned out really well. I think they'll look really good in the truck. That is, of course, the back of the seat. Some areas didn't stick too well with this satin paint over top of the black for some reason. I'm not sure. I did clean all these pieces after I masked them where I was painting to make sure that the paint would stick, but you can see some. It's probably hard for you guys to see that, but some on the edges here where the bumps are, the paint didn't adhere very well. I didn't want to go back and try and hand touch those up because I would have made a mess of it, so I just left them. They're not too bad. I'll have a driver sitting in there on the one seat anyway, so you won't see it. The back of the seats, I just did the headrest, and the rest of the back is black, so they will go on like so. And then it'll just be the headrest that is the solid orange. So it should look good from behind. And of course the steering wheel, I just did the center of the steering wheel. I noticed that on the pictures I looked at on the internet that just the center, I guess it would be the horn, was done. So that's all I did on that. The console lid I did all in orange, so that lid actually will be opening. It attaches with a hinge and a magnet, and that'll go in the main chassis area here, and it sits in there, and there's actually a magnet that'll open and close it. So yeah, and then I did just the shifters. I did the top knob and the bottom of it to make it look like that is the leather on both. So I think those turned out pretty good. Again, the paint didn't stick horribly well, like great, but good enough to make it show that it's mimicking that leather part of the shifters. I did both shifters that way. Main interior I left black except for the cup holders. I did some silver on the top of the cup holders, but the rest I left black. While all of this painting and stuff was going on and it was drying, being a 3D printer dude, making my 3D printing scale accessories and stuff, which you all can have access to if you're interested, just send me an email. I can send you a list of what I have, and I can definitely do some business there. So I designed and printed some floor mats. So these, I also did this in my Jeep Cherokee build, my SCX-10 too, but I wanted to do it for this one too. So these will go in here, and I'll probably just double side tape them. I think that's what I did in my other one, or glue them, and they'll sit in there like that. So there's actually some floor mats in there. So yeah, that should really set off the interior really well too. Kind of finishes off the floor there a bit, and yeah, I think that'll look really good. And these are easy to do, so if anyone is looking for a set of these or something like this, let me know. Leave a comment or email me the sizes in millimeters and what you want in the center, and I can make those for you at a pretty cheap rate. So just let me know. Okay, so off to the hardest part of the whole paint was the dash. So the dash was a little bit of a bugger to mask off and get perfectly masked and painted, but I thought it turned out really well. I also put the matte flip black down first, and then did the masking as you saw earlier in the video. This was on pictures that I saw too, that these two pillars going up to the top were done that way in the real Land Rovers, so I wanted to mimic that, and the leather going across the cluster top, and the shelf, or whatever you want to call it, the grab handle in the dash was also done that way. So I tried to mimic as much as I could from an actual, and I think that it turned out really well. I had to go back and do some touch-up painting where the orange didn't set in like it did on the seats, but I went back in there with a paintbrush, sprayed some the paint onto a piece of cardboard, and used a fine paintbrush to just finalize off everything and make sure it looked as good. I did some silver around the vent outlets, and there's decals for all in here, and the clock and stuff, and the cluster, so all that'll be decaled up on the final. So yeah, I think it turned out pretty good. I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out and the color choice. Only time will tell when we get it into the truck and see what it looks like inside the truck, but I think it's going to contrast well. So yeah, so that's where we're at. The next is the final assembly. So the next video will be the final assembly of all of this. It might be a little bit longer, guys, so I apologize for that, but it'll be the final assembly, and then we'll have a look at it on the chassis and see how the fruits of my labor have turned out. I'm pretty happy so far, so stay tuned for those, and thanks everyone that's subscribed to the channel, and for those that haven't subscribed that are here watching my videos, please subscribe. Give me a thumbs up, give me a comment, click that bell. I'll leave some links to the previous videos up in the corner there of the build process, the body prep and paint, and the chassis build. And yeah, we'll see you at the next one when we do the final assembly. It'll probably be, like I said, a little longer, but I wanted to share this with you guys and have you come along with the build. So thanks everybody for watching, and we'll see you at the next one. Stay safe. Cheers.